Our first panelist is a BS-MS Chemical Engineering undergraduate at De La Salle University, previously the Director General of the 7th De La Salle Model United Nations, and currently he is the newest Secretary General of the 8th DLS Moon. He is also currently serving as the Magistrate of the DLSU Judiciary Branch, and aside from these academic achievements, his interests includes politics, photography, and he likes to spend his free days reading fiction books and watching Netflix. So without further ado, I will now introduce to you our first speaker, Mr. Gio Almonte from De La Salle University.
Hello, good afternoon. Yes, so I'll share my screen first. Okay, let's begin. So good afternoon. So today I'll be discussing how we can future-proof education, which is basically a response to our prompts regarding education in the 21st century and how we can create a new system that will benefit all of us in today's society. So once again, I am Gio Almonte. I am a student at De La Salle University, and in addition to studying engineering under that university, I'm also doing organizations that involve law and other international politics. So today we'll be discussing three major things. The first is, what is education in the first place? When did it start? What is it? And how is it going? The second is, does a 100-year-old system work? Does the system of education we have now actually work? Or is it something that needs to be changed? And finally, how can we make a system better? How can we create a system that will last not only for the next 100 years, but will be able to last us for more generations to come? So first, we're going to talk about what is education. So we're going to go with the ABCs of education, as we say it. So first, what is education? So I think if we look, we have a lot of definitions of education. But in terms of boiling it down, education is basically a system of gaining new knowledge and skills that we'll be using in one's life. So you don't need to go to a school to have an education, or you don't need to be under a teacher. Education can be simply learning from someone, learning by yourself, or learning as a group. Education has been a very fundamental part of human life, and it's a very natural response because every day you learn something new. You can't just not learn. Education is a thing that everyone has. The second is, when did it start? So while education has been a very common thing in life since the start of time, the standardization of our educational system really didn't start until the 1500s. Before that, it was usually through religious orders, where priests and, for example, Catholics will educate their priests in order for them to be able to migrate to different countries and spread the word or any of their knowledge. And it was in the 1500s where we started having classrooms that were teaching new syllabuses. However, this wasn't fully created until the 20th century, where we created new technologies such as ball pens and textbooks. And this allowed us to create the system of education that we have today. So if you were to look at the education system of the 20th century, it's actually very similar to the system we have in this century. And why do we learn? So we have many different reasons on why we do education, but I think we can really boil it down into two reasons, which is first, to enrich our life, and second is to empower us. So to enrich our life, so of course, education now is essential in getting jobs, in learning new things, and understanding the world. So it would enrich our lives. And the second is empowering us. So by having the education, we're able to understand our rights and our power within the society. And by understanding what we can do, we'll be able to maximize our life and empower ourselves throughout our lives. So next, according to John Locke, education is basically reflective and critical thinking is the center of education. So it's not about memorizing. Education really should be able to serve the social, physical, and emotional needs of a student. It should be something that will help empower their current skills and assist them in the future. So this is something we really need to look into now. And the next question would be, are we really following what John Locke is saying? So what is our system today? If you guys look at the left picture, at the past, we had our standardized schooling system. And this is really just a teacher, a blackboard, and a group of students. And this has been reflected many times, even until now. I think all of us have basically the same classes: arithmetic, science, social studies. And this has been the standard schooling that actually would help back when jobs usually fall into two categories, which was either industrials or services. So while this system worked in the past, now in the present, we live in a world that is fast moving, digital, and very creative. Before, there used to be maybe only 50 careers that you could take. But now, with our fast moving digital space, there are thousands of careers one could take. And not only are there lots of opportunities, there are also lots of requirements that we need to learn. The things that we are learning in the past right now, while it is useful, it is not the only thing we need to learn for becoming successful in the present. And finally, in the future. So I think a lot of us say we might know what the future is going to be, but in reality, we don't know what the future is going to be. And if you do know the future, you can always call me in a few minutes. So yes, let's go to the next slide. Oops, sorry. Okay, so basically what I'm saying is 50 years ago, the skills of arithmetic, science, problem solving, and other specialized skills were important. That's all we needed. If you were a scientist, as long as you knew the science, you were fine. If you were an economist, as long as you knew business, you were okay. But 20 years ago, we started needing these soft skills, team management, critical thinking, and communication. And because we lacked these skills, some people weren't able to succeed. And recently, this year, there are new skills that we need to have: digital literacy, multi-sectoral awareness, graphic design, and other soft skills. And see, while schools have been teaching us how to do science, arithmetic, problem solving, we have not been able to learn the soft skills. And basically, what our conclusion is from this system is that the educational system of the past is not adapting to what we need in the future. While it is important to know these basic skills, such as math and science, it is not necessary for it is necessary for us to be able to learn the soft skills. And this is something that's completely lacking in our educational system. And I think the COVID-19 pandemic has shown us that there are lots of things that we still need to learn, and that is not being fulfilled by our schools. So how can we make it better? So first, we need to recognize the need. So if you look at the first text bubble at the top, we need to realize that schools should be able to adapt and encourage students to explore new things. That in addition to the normal classes we have, it is important for us to know the soft skills as well as the hard skills that we have in our education system. We need to learn how to talk. We need to learn how to be digitally literate. We need to know all of these soft skills. But as I shown you, the skills that we need every year changes. The trends of the world change. So how can we make sure that our system is able to adapt to these changes? Because obviously we can't keep on giving new classes every year to match what's happening in the world. We need to be able to create an adaptive student and an adaptive learning system. So what do I propose? Well, I have 3 points. First is creating the opportunity. Second is recognizing the opportunity. And third is acting on the opportunity. So creating the opportunity. So we study 8 hours a day for some schools. For me, 8 hours. And I think that schools should be able to give time for students to explore and study on their own, to not only study what they have in school, but to explore new opportunities. At the same time, new opportunities must be given. This includes opening organizations, allowing them to join, giving them spaces, giving them invitations to new opportunities. And second is recognizing the opportunity. As a student, you must always be on the lookout for new opportunities in order to improve. The things you are doing today can be done better in some way. Students must always be able to see that there is a better way to do things and that they must be able to grasp that opportunity. While we know that there are different soft skills that are needed each year, we don't necessarily know what it is now. Students must be able to recognize that and take advantage of that. And finally, they must be able to act on the opportunity. They must be able to take the opportunity to learn and learn it well. Do not stay on what is comfortable, but try out new things in order to improve your life and to learn the skills that you would need. We must learn from mistakes and always adapt. That is basically the system that we need to improve on as a student and also as a society in order to create a lasting educational institution that is always adaptive and is ready for the future. So I'll give you a quick example of this. So first, for example, I wanted to learn how to contact people better. This means how to contact organizations and partner with them. So first, I was given the opportunity. I joined an organization that allowed me to reach out to different companies and other groups. The second is I recognized the opportunity. Instead of just emailing different companies, I realized that I could use different apps that would allow me to track my emails and allow me to find out if my emails are being opened by these companies. At the same time, I learned how to create PowerPoints, such as this one, to create meaningful presentations that would attract different companies. And this helped me create a new opportunity to improve on how to contact people better. And at the same time, I was able to learn the soft skill of contacting and PowerPoint making. And that would be, for me, would be essential in my life and in my future. And of course, finally, I acted on it and learned something new. So as you can see, you must be able to take the opportunity and recognize what you need in your life. You must be able to take the soft skills and do something that would help improve yourself. And before I end, that's actually the end. Before the end, I want to invite all of you to join the opportunity of joining my event. So in the 8th De La Salle Model United Nations, we will be having a discussion forum, a case competition, and a conference where you can take the opportunity to join other people from around the world in solving the problems of today and meeting new people along the way. So take this opportunity and create a better self. So once again, thank you so much. And if you have an opportunity, please act on it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that great speech, Mr. Gio Almonte. So would you please give him a round of applause? All right, so now we will proceed to the question and answer forum. All right, so I think the audiences are still thinking. I guess I could ask my question first. So, Mr. Gio Almonte, you mentioned that soft skills are important and should be promoted more. I would just like to clarify, what are the examples of other soft skills? You've mentioned about connecting to other people, how to learn from other people. So is there an important soft skill that everyone should learn, or is it like independent per individual?
Okay. Each individual has a group of soft skills that I think are important to themselves individually. But I think some of these important soft skills include first graphic design. So I think a lot of countries they rely on graphic designers to do their PowerPoints or their posters. But in reality, it's more important if you're able to do it yourself to be able to save time. So I would recommend for people to use canva.com. I believe that in Japan, it isn't that popular yet, but through canva.com, you're able to create a lot of good PowerPoints. And secondly, I think, as I said, it's important to learn how to contact people. A lot of people don't know how to do proper business emails and proper invitations. And I think by able to master this, you're able to build connections that will help you in your future job opportunities and as a student.
All right, that actually satisfies the question. So does anybody else have any question for Mr. Gio Almonte? He mentioned something about education being different today than 20 years ago. So I think that was very insightful on how 20 years ago, it's true that I think our parents were very focused on only one skill. They only developed, like, for example, they wanted to do business, they were only focused on business. But I guess in today's workforce, it is more rampant that a lot of businesses demand more skills and experience. Then I have another question just to maximize our Q&A time. So not everyone has the resources to have such soft skills, or not everyone has the opportunity. So especially people living in developing countries. So how do you think can students gain these soft skills given that they don't have a lot of opportunities?
I believe actually that they have a lot of opportunities. So me myself, I live in a developing country. I live in the Philippines, and the recent boon of electronic devices and of Wi-Fi allows us to be able to connect with lots of different people and lots of different online resources in order to learn these soft skills. So as long as the students are willing to find these opportunities and they're able to take it, I think it's very possible for them to do it. So the digital world has actually helped equalize the disparity between developing and developed countries, and they should take charge of that.
I see. So it's more of like a reliant on technology that these people can catch up with first world countries. All right, so that's a very insightful talk. Again, thank you very much, Mr. Gio Almonte, for that very wonderful and very insightful talk. So please give him a one last round of applause.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.